You're listening to WDKR at WDKR.org, internet-based radio serving Cherokee County, Alabama. This is the Matt and Todd Show with Big Matt and Diamond D.
Good evening, Cherokee County. What's going on? How's everybody doing? It's been a wet week. It's been a kind of cold week, and it's been warm at some times. Todd, how's your week been going?
Been pretty good. Been a little cold. We hadn't had any winter weather yet. Do you think we're going to get any?
I feel it in my left knee that we are going to have some cold winter weather by end of February, 1st of March.
We're not out of the woods yet.
No, most definitely not. Baseball season's going to be starting up around here for our local high school teams. Cold weather, baseball. The guys will be bundled up with the heaters, and the parents have heaters out there.
They're going to play in boggins. The pitcher going to have to wear a boggin.
It's very possible. It's going to be. I think we're going to have a cold year. So
ski mask. I can see the first baseman with a ski mask on. That'd be pretty neat, wouldn't it?
Well, tonight, Todd, listeners, we thank y'all guys for tuning in. WDKR, the Matt and Todd shows, Big Matt and Diamond Dean. We're always blessed and happy to be able to do this for you. Tonight, we're going to talk about some college basketball. SEC, pretty much. Bama, Auburn, Kentucky, kind of what they've done, and maybe where they're heading, a few of their players, what they got going on. NBA leaders and scorers. What about Anthony Davis? I don't like he signed a contract yet, Todd. What's going on out there? We're going to kick that around. And also, we're going to look back on Kansas City defeating the Titans and the 49ers beating the Packers as we had picked it. Although I was a little disappointed. We wanted the Titans to win. We kind of did.
Yeah, obviously, because of Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
And it's the closest team besides Atlanta to us.
Right. We're going to ramp up for the Super Bowl, guys, and tune in next Sunday. We're going to do a Super Bowl special. Big Matt Diamond Dean is going to break the Super Bowl down for you right before the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. So don't forget, tune in at about 4 o'clock next Sunday, Super Bowl special. We're going to do that next Sunday right before the game when everybody's gathered around and cooking wings and dipping chips. Plug in the Matt and Todd Show, WDKR.org. And also tonight, we can't forget this. This is big here. College football recruiting. We're going to do Bama, Auburn, LSU, Georgia. Todd's got some notes. We've talked to some people, and we've seen where the kids are going. What coaches are staying? Who's leaving? What spots are changing hands in the college football scene? So those are some things that are going on right now. So tonight, it's like college basketball. Since Bama got a new coach, his Nate Oakes is the guy's name. He's from Michigan. Todd, did you know that he was an assistant to Bobby Hurley?
That's a good thing.
I would think so. He's a
two-time national champion.
You know, Marcus asked me, well, as a matter of fact, last night we were having dinner, my thoughts of who were the best college basketball teams. Mm-hmm. And I have to always say the ones that I watched. And, of course, that 89 to 92-ish.
Duke was definitely.
Yeah, Christian Laettner, Bobby Hurley, those guys.
Yeah.
You have to put that team in there. And I got on my phone and was showing him, and I think they were like 2 or 3 on the list. I think UCLA was
one of their older teams,
and North Carolina was 1 or 2 on another list. So it's like North Carolina, UCLA, Duke, but most congruently,
pretty good basketball there when they won the back-to-back.
Right,
beat Kentucky with that Laettner shot at the end.
Well, nobody around here really liked Christian Laettner.
No, especially up in Kentucky. They hated him. Most hated man in Kentucky.
Well, Coach Nate was, like I said, assistant with Bobby. 18 to 19, he was a MAC Coach of the Year. Last 4 years, he was at Buffalo, Todd. He was in 3 NCAA tourneys up there. And I know that's the MAC.
So that means, but he had to win it.
Yes. Program record, he's set for 32 wins. He beat number 4 ranked at the time, Arizona, 89-68.
Ooh.
So obviously he did a good job up there. He's from Wisconsin. He went to a small school, a small Baptist university up there. He's a degreed math major by trade. So that's just a little side note there about Coach Oates. What else is going on in college basketball?
Well, I'm going to say this about Oates. Oates seems like he's doing a good job at Alabama. I will say this, though. They're averaging a ton of threes a game. I know going in the Kentucky game 2 weeks ago, they were hitting 11 threes a game, but they only happened to get 3 that game.
Well, they took their 500th three-pointer attempt sometime back there. So
they're shooting about 25 a game.
That sounds about right.
Well, but as a team, Alabama does look pretty good. They played Kentucky well. They upset Auburn when Auburn was undefeated.
Yeah, right.
And they've showed some signs of life, but technically they are still on the bubble as far as the NCAA tournament's going.
Right.
But now some teams that are not on the bubble would be Auburn, the Auburn Tigers, who just lost to Alabama a week and a half ago. Then they turned around and lost to Florida.
Right.
But Auburn is looking very good once again. I don't know if they've got a Final Four run in them.
They're like 15-2 right now.
Like they had last year.
They lost by 19 to Bama and lost by 22 to Florida.
Bad week.
They dropped from 4 to 16 during that time, and as of now, I hadn't looked today or yesterday at their rating, but Auburn fell out of some contingencies there.
Well, Bruce Pearl's done a great job there. You know what he did last year? I felt like they got robbed in the Final Four game and possibly should have played for it. And I see this team going deep again. They got Samir Dowdy or Dowdy, however you want to pronounce it, and Daniel Purifoy are two very good players for them, putting up some good numbers this year. They're the leading scorers. And back to Alabama for a second, they obviously have John Petty.
Yeah, I like him.
And John Petty technically has the most hair of any player in college basketball.
I would have to agree with that. He's definitely got a head full.
And Kyra Lewis Jr., who's also a very good player. But now Auburn's not on the bubble. Auburn's probably going to the tournament unless they just completely implode.
Yeah.
And lose the rest of their ball games. But now Alabama's got a lot of wins to get under their belt, and they need to do good in the SEC tournament to even get considered for this for the NCAA tournament.
And the tournament starts March 11th through the 15th.
Right, and then the next Thursday will be the start of the NCAA, which Alabama hasn't made a lot of noise in a while.
No, I hope Coach Nate seems like he's got them playing a different kind of defense. Mm-hmm. They're moving around on the floor a little bit better. So, good luck to them. I hope they play a little better.
Obviously, she's stressing to shoot the three ball.
Yeah. Well, I think, ain't that the way the game seems like it has moved that way? I was watching one of the NBA games, and they showed a stat up there, and it's the dots where players shoot. Mm-hmm. And they were showing a graph from a couple of years ago to now in that particular game. And it's not even, you can tell there's a difference from where the shots are being made from. Back years ago, you're seeing more in the paint, and as of the last 5 years or 4,
it's going back.
It is. They're shooting the perimeter
shots. How do you feel about that? As a basketball coach in middle school and rec league, I'm not real crazy about it.
It's terrible. I coached when Marcus and some of the friends, they were younger. We coached them out in upward basketball here in the county, and I remember we had a little boy, and he crosses midcourt, and I can tell he's done cocking his arm, fixing to shoot the ball, and he shoots, and I'm like, no, and it swish goes in. I'm like, okay, well, that just weren't that. And I understand what you're saying, because kids want to emulate what they see.
Yeah.
So it's harder on us, on rec league coaches, to get them to steer clear from shooting those three-point shots.
Well, I know I've helped with a middle school. I've helped with a middle school program for 4 years now, and probably 3 of the 4 years we've had to stress. Me and the head coach have had to stress taking this thing in the paint, because they will sit out there and shoot all day from outside.
Learn the fundamentals of the game, and
most of your scoring takes place, especially at a lower level, inside.
Because right at that age, I remember we were just trying to get them to learn how to dribble.
Right.
And much less trying to even make layups or even shooting the ball. I mean, of course, we did that, and just layup drills.
And layup drills. 3-point drills.
And layup drills, and dribbling the ball, and playing defense. Try to keep your hands up and all. And then they just want to go out there and shoot threes all the time.
Yeah.
So, yes, it is difficult.
Well, I have a buddy that coaches, and he takes kids out if they shoot a three.
Really?
Yeah, and that may be drastic.
Now, what age group is that?
He coaches middle school.
Middle school.
7th and 8th grade.
Well.
He takes them out, but they can fly. They can run the court. I mean, if they he presses all the time. So he's like, let's make this easy. Let's take the easiest route to be successful.
Yeah.
So, and that's going to the basket most of the time with kids. Now with college players, I don't always agree. You got a team that can light it up, shoot it.
Yeah.
But a lot of times these middle school kids, and especially kids in rec league, can't shoot from the outside.
It's difficult to coach that. What about how's Kentucky making? I know there's some Kentucky fans around here. We've liked watching them play over the years. How are they faring right now?
Well, in Kentucky, they're looking pretty good. Looks like it's going to come down to maybe them and Auburn again. That's just my personal opinion.
Okay.
Kentucky's lost 4 ball games.
Yeah.
They lost to South Carolina, Evansville, Ohio State, and Utah. But for the most part, people are down on Kentucky, and I know people up there are down on them because they're not fantastic like they have been. Kentucky had a lot of guys come back, and they didn't have the top-notch recruits like they always have, like the 5 stars. But they're a good, solid team, and I think this Kentucky team could make a good run. Ashton Hagens, their point guard, actually went to middle school in Cartersville and was in the same class with Trevor Lawrence.
How about that? Okay, there's a side note for you listeners.
And Emmanuel Quickly, their shooting guard, has the best shooting percentage in the NCAA for free throws.
Okay.
So, and they got a big man. So you got 2 good guards, and you got a big man.
Shooters. Looks like they play defense. They don't give up a ton of points in most of these games. Even the games they lost, they're not giving up a lot of points. So.
No, and I think they could make a run. You know, a lot of people don't like Calipari's style. He gets players in there. They play 1 year usually and go. This bunch is a little different. Most of these guys are 2nd-year and 3rd-year guys.
That's good. Seems kind of unusual for Calipari.
It is.
Played more longer.
It's the way it worked out this year, and
well, you know
I'm pleased with it myself.
That loss to South Carolina, they had 4 players in double digits.
Mm-hmm. Probably those 4 we're talking about, 3 of the returnees.
Well, they missed 8 of their last 10 final shots, and they wound up losing that game 78-81.
On the buzzer, banked it. He banked it
out of the end of the game. So they also lost. Todd had mentioned they lost to Evansville, 64-67, back on the 12th. The purple,
upset there.
The Purple Aces. Would you ever think the Kentucky Wildcats will lose to a group called the Purple Aces?
At home.
Kentucky was favored by 25. They were 39-0 against non-ranked teams at home.
In the last 39 games, they hadn't lost a game.
No.
Wow.
But their guard at Evansville, he had 15 points the first half off the bench. But he also played for Arizona and Kansas.
Right.
They only trailed once in the second half. But, their coach there at Evansville, he looks like he had won a title or something with Kentucky in 96.
He started on that team.
Yeah, he was an assistant with Patino from Louisville. So that was kind of interesting. I dug around in that. I get off in these rabbit holes when I find out about the guy with the one-eye quarterback.
Right. Yeah, that was pretty interesting.
I get off in this stuff, and I get to reading stuff. So Kentucky keys the loss. It looked like Calipari said, quote, they just out-hustled us. That's basically it. He said, we just got out-hustled. In the South Carolina game, he said they out-toughed us. They played man. They manned up on us more times than maybe they thought they would. So, and you're going to lose some games. Who's going to go undefeated?
I mean, it's only happened once. Indiana in 1976.
Yeah, that's been...
What's that, 43 years ago? Yeah. 44, yeah. And so you're not going to go undefeated, but they very easily could be 18-2 instead of 16-4 right now.
Well, that sounds good. A little bit of college basketball for everybody. We're going to take a little break, and we're going to come back and talk about a little bit of NBA leaders and Anthony Davis's contract, maybe what's going on out there. Thank you guys for tuning in to WDKR, the Matt and Todd Show. We'll be right back. Hang on.
You're listening to WDKR, internet-based community radio, serving Cherokee County, Alabama. WDKR.org. Join Big Matt and Diamond Dean for sports talk and more on the Matt and Todd Show, right here on WDKR at WDKR.org. Every Sunday night at 7 o'clock Central Standard Time. Good evening, I'm Shane Decker. I produce the Matt and Todd Show, and because the show is pre-recorded, on behalf of Big Matt and Diamond Dean, I'd like to acknowledge the tragic loss of basketball superstar Kobe Bryant, who was killed along with his daughter in a helicopter crash today just outside of Los Angeles. Our thoughts and prayers go out to all those who are shocked and hurting tonight. Thank you for tuning in to the Matt and Todd Show.
All right, welcome back from the break, everybody. This is Big Matt and Diamond Dean. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. WDKR, the Matt and Todd Show. Looks like we're going to talk about NBA right now. Who's the scoring leaders and what we got going on. Todd, I've heard that AD is not going to re-sign his contract, or not. He's not going to, but he has not as of yet. Have you heard any different?
I've not heard different, and I'll be honest with you, I'm very puzzled by that. He just got there.
Seems like he's playing good.
He's playing great.
They did have a little slight, was it a growing strain or something he had? He was out a few games.
Now, don't get me wrong, I haven't looked at it in the last day and a half, but as of late Thursday night, nothing had changed as far as him re-signing a long-term deal. But I don't know why he wouldn't, unless obviously he's holding out for more money.
That's what I thought.
I can't imagine a marriage between him and LeBron being bad.
No, I wouldn't think so.
I mean, LeBron's averaging 25 points and 11 assists.
Yeah, he's having a record career for his assist numbers. He's kind of been a little up and down at times, which I know he's playing in his later season.
Is he 36?
Yes. He didn't shoot in the first quarter in the Magic game that I watched. I watched a lot of it, probably more of it than I did others. Seems like when he's playing weaker teams, I would like to see him be more aggressive. Mm-hmm. But that being said, a lot of these players now are load managing. We do know what time of the year it is. It's getting late into January.
About All-Star break time.
Yes. So, and he was selected. Him and AD were selected for the All-Stars.
I mean, LeBron could be in prison and he gets selected for the All-Star game, because that's based on fan votes, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, that Magic game, he had 19 points and 19 assists. Again, was a record.
19 assists?
19. That was a set for him.
So he's taking on a completely whole new role. Here's my question to you, Matt. I know everybody says they can, and I was not a believer. I was an unbeliever. Can they win it?
If they keep at this pace, I wouldn't see why not. But now they're going to have to deal probably with the Bucks. They're going to have to get out of the West first, Todd, because we need to mention the Clippers.
Yeah, Clippers very tough.
Kawhi is playing very well. He did load manage a lot. And Paul George, I have heard rumors of maybe having a hamstring injury. Mm-hmm. We don't know if it's a pop, bad, or if it's just a strain. Now, strain and tear is two different things. Strain, miss a few games, they can tape him up, massage, have the docs work on him. Whereas if he tears his hamstring, he's done for the year. You don't play, you don't come back from that. So if Paul George and Kawhi are healthy, and they're fixing to play the Lakers again.
Lou Williams from Atlanta also played for them. He's a great player.
Man, he has played good.
He's really good.
Lakers bench, man, they had like 68 off the bench against the Magic the other night, and I think I seen against the Nets here the other day. They had like 60 points again, it seems like, off the bench. So the Lakers bench is playing well. I think Kuzma's coming off the bench, and I think that's a little harmful to him and how he plays.
Right.
I think he's a type of player that likes to get in a routine. Mm-hmm. Whereas we talked about Derrick Henry likes to have 25 carries before he gets in a rhythm.
Right.
Well, I think Kuzma maybe feels like he needs to get him off, 10 shots or so before he feels warmed up to play.
Well, you mentioned something about the West, and the West is tough. You've got, and forgive me, but I have trouble pronouncing these names. You got the Jokic, and right. You got the Doncic.
Yeah.
In Dallas, that's the Utah and Dallas. Denver's also good. And then right behind all them, you got the Clippers, Lakers, Jazz, Nuggets. Then you got, boom, it's Houston with James Harden and his 470 points a game, averaging 36 points a game.
Yeah, he's having a good year, man. Fear the beard.
And Russell Westbrook.
It's definitely in full effect. Everybody's fearing the beard. Zion, I think they're playing the Nuggets tonight, this is Saturday. They're playing them, and Zion is coming in. I watched him play his debut. Seemed like he had 22 points or so. Very explosive to the goal. He looks healthy. He played for Wednesday. He played the Spurs. Looks like he's in basketball shape to me, and I know they're doing him in like 4 minutes out. Play 4 minutes, so then he's out a while. Zion looks really good to me, and I think this guy's really – the ceiling is definitely going to be the limit for Zion. I can't wait to see him play a full game.
Well, I enjoy watching him, and he was pretty much gone to the pros from the minute he stepped on the floor at Duke. But now, moving over to the East for just a second, you mentioned something about the Bucks a few minutes ago. They had the best record in the NBA, and of course they're led by Giannis.
Antetokounmpo.
I'll just say Giannis.
Yeah.
And they got the best record in the NBA. They're 40-6. But you also got some other good teams in the East. You've got Miami, led by Jimmy Butler. They're playing very well.
Yes, they are. They're playing good now, and this is a good time to be playing good. I guess if that's
Boston.
correct.
Kemba Walker.
I know they won the other night. They beat the Lakers. The other night. So they're having their times where they're playing well. And the highlight reel. Here's a side note that
Gordon Hayward plays for them, and they're loaded.
Jaylen Brown,
Jason Tatum.
He dunked on LeBron the other night
And stared him down.
And I'll say about that. Of course, the media is going to talk about it. And of course,
Probably
it gives us something to talk about too. I'm okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
I just seem like I think I'm in light of being a LeBron hater on the media page, and I am not. And to my son, most definitely thinks I hate him because
he just thinks that because you don't think he's the greatest player
I don't
ever.
think he's the greatest player to ever play the game, but that don't mean he's not good.
Mm-hmm.
But for Jalen to dunk on him, it happens.
Mm-hmm.
People get dunked on. I think LeBron thought while he's standing there on the goal, Jalen kind of makes a little break and he comes on pretty quick. And LeBron maybe like he was going to go up, and like Jalen's going to maybe lay it in. Well, Jalen just kind of kept rising and dunked on him.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, it's not a big deal. Yes, LeBron got dunked on, but it has been made in light of that because of the light that LeBron's been put in. In high school, when he played in high school, they had to move it to a college in town. And when the news reporter vans plugged in at this arena, they shut the power down in some town in Akron.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm saying that he's such a huge superstar and such big light. When you dunk on him, it's going to be talked about.
Well, but Boston, that being said, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Kemba Walker, if everybody's healthy, they could be very dangerous.
Well, it's definitely not the Nets.
Milwaukee's never gone to the NBA championship since we've been watching NBA ball. But Boston has several times. Growing up, and again with Paul Pierce and all that bunch, Kevin Garnett, and
didn't Kareem start there?
He started in Milwaukee, yes.
Yeah.
They actually won it when he was there.
Well, good gracious, man. And talk about the best college basketball players ever. We may do something on that later. I'd read some notes.
Everything says Kareem.
About who was the best, and it's Lou Alcindor. And when Marcus read it, he said,
"Who's that?"
Who's Lou Alcindor? I said, "Buddy, that's Abdul-Jabbar. Great, one of the greatest
I saw
players
a wonderful
all time in college or pro.
Bit on Jeopardy. Kareem was on Jeopardy.
Oh, really?
And they asked him a question. Who played center for the UCLA Bruins when they won the title? And he wasn't paying close attention to the question in 1974. And he said himself, the answer was Bill Walton. Mm-hmm. And him and Alex Trebek had a big laugh about it. But
Kareem was there in 72.
He was in there in the early 70s.
72, he won it.
Yeah.
I think they won it 72 with him. I may be wrong. Y'all don't shoot me on that.
Well, I mean, he's won everywhere he's ever been.
Absolutely.
UCLA, Milwaukee.
Who can handle the skyhook? Nobody. Nobody.
And I'll just be honest with you, I'll be surprised if Milwaukee goes back, which I do think they have a good team. But I think you got to watch for Boston, Philadelphia, Miami also.
I'm pushing for the Celtics. That's my team. I've always followed them for a long time. And I was terribly troubled when Kyrie Irving left and went to the Nets to play with KD. And KD ain't even playing this year. I hate that. But anyway.
I don't even want to get into that. I don't understand it.
I know. Stay at Boston. Man, Boston is it's the Boston
great
Celtics.
Coach, too. Brad Stevens. I've actually heard players say, man, this guy, he's going to put you in a position to get a good shot. Like during timeouts, said he's the best.
It seemed like he would have been. It felt like when he was at Cleveland with LeBron, he would led the team while LeBron went to Miami when he come back. He still felt like he kind of wanted to be in charge. It felt that way, and then they won, and they break up, and it goes away. And I thought, well, okay, he could go to Boston. He could be the LeBron, quote unquote, of the Celtics for this team. Man, that's a good Tatum and those guys and Brown. That's a good young team.
Good young team.
And Kyrie could be a good leader for that team. Man, he can play defense. He crosses people up. He's a great shooter. I'm just bothered. It bothers me because
Brown and Tatum are still teenagers, aren't they? They're very young.
Yes, and Tatum with that horrific leg injury we were watching season before opening day, he just breaks his leg completely in half. Terrible. He come back and he's playing good. So that's kind of it on the NBA, I guess. So we're looking for the Bucks and the Celtics, and of course the Clippers.
We'll get another Celtics and Lakers match.
Clippers and Lakers are going to push, but don't forget about the Rockets. You know, we got to remember those guys.
Not with their firepower.
So guys, that's going in for the NBA, I guess, and we'll definitely get into some more of that probably later on in the year as things move on and everything. So we're going to take a quick break. Thank you for tuning in to WDKR, the Matt and Todd Show. It's Big Matt and Diamond Dean. We'll be right back with some NFL. How did the games turn out? What do we have here? We have San Francisco with the 49ers playing the Packers, where our scores are pretty close.
We got real close on some of them.
Titans and the Chiefs. Scores there were pretty good. So we're going to turn the page, guys. Again, thank you for tuning in. Hang on, man. We'll be right back with some NFL. Thank you.
You're listening to WDKR, internet-based community radio, serving Cherokee County, Alabama. WDKR.org. Join Big Matt and Diamond Dean for sports talk and more on the Matt and Todd Show, right here on WDKR at WDKR.org. Every Sunday night at 7 o'clock Central Standard Time.
Welcome back, good people of Cherokee County. Thank you for listening to the Matt and Todd Show. It's Big Matt and Diamond Dean. We have made it middle way to the show. We're glad you guys have stuck around with us this far. We're excited to get in here to some NFL playoffs and review the game of the KFC Chicken Titans versus the Titans. Todd, looks like they won 35-24. They are the AFC champs. It's going to be their first Super Bowl appearance since 1969.
50 years?
Yeah.
No Super Bowl.
They've been close many times, but they just never could kind of finish through with the season. But with this year, with Mahomes and the defense is not playing shabby, they are the LSU of the NFL, maybe? Is that fair to say?
I would think it's very fair to say, except they don't have as good a running game. But
yeah, with the receivers they have.
Yeah, I mean, you got Hill, Tyreek Hill, Kelsey, the tight end, Sammy Watkins, Hardman, Miko Hardman that played at Georgia. Loaded.
Let's run through that. I would say the keys to victory for Kansas City is very easy. It's a guy named Mahomes. Playing back there in the QB position. He threw for 3 touchdowns. He ran one in. But he does have weapons, as you mentioned. Hill had 11 catches for 157. Kelsey, tight end, big guy, plays very well.
He's had 100-yard games this year.
7 catches for 75 yards. Harden, 1 for 63. Robinson, 4 for 56. And Watkins had 5 for 40. Williams and Thompson, they were also involved as well. So it seemed like he spreads the ball around very well, as does Joe Burrow done at LSU. The receivers all having very equal kind of numbers. So Andy Reid, this will be his second Super Bowl. The Titans jumped out 10-0 pretty quick, and I was kind of excited.
So that's 2 weeks in a row that the other team jumped out on Kansas City.
Yeah.
24-0 with the Texans.
Yep.
And 10-0 this week. Yeah, I saw that. It was looking good. And then it swallowed up pretty quick.
Well, their offense is so fast, and they score quickly. They're playing Evans. They used him as a spy. The Titans did. And
Evans that played at Alabama?
Yes, and it kind of played into the favor of Mahomes because somebody's open. If you got a guy just prowling him,
right,
somebody's open down the field. Well, it wound up being 17-7, with 7 minutes left in the half there. About 4 minutes left.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like that's when the water hit the grease in the pan.
Mm-hmm.
They took off 21-17 at the half by then. It was the most explosive offense, Todd, that we've seen in so long. Mahomes scrambles around. Right there, he had a 27-yard touchdown run. And what kind of tackling is that? The guy tries to put on Mahomes down there about the 5. Did you see that?
Well, it's like you said earlier, he may have been hey, this is a quarterback running. They tried to let up on him a little bit. I don't know. Knock him out. Knock him out of bounds,
Man, come on.
You can tee him up if he's out in the middle of the field.
There's no way he could be that fast. I don't think Mahomes is that fast, is he?
I've not heard anything.
He's exceptionally fast.
No.
I'm sure he runs under a 5 40.
Well, yeah.
I'm sure he's fast as that. Back after the half, looks like they had settled in by the third. But start off the fourth quarter, right off the bat, man, your guy, the old Clemson Tiger, Sammy Watkins, bust a move down the sideline up there for a 60-yard touchdown. Boom, Kansas City's up 35-17. Right then you just kind of feel like, well, they're not going to run Henry.
Mm-hmm.
He only touched the ball how many times after half?
3.
3 times after half.
In the second half.
Todd, he had 69 yards. Yeah, and it looks like, Todd, the keys to the Titans losing the game, looks like the old school Big 8 style 1980s football just caught up to them. Kansas City just scores so fast, like I'd said. The Titans' O-line just definitely didn't do their job, period.
Well, we had talked, and we had said last week that we thought that the game plan for the Chiefs would be to try to line up and stop Henry.
Yeah.
And make Tannehill beat them deep. And let's just be honest, it worked.
Kind of looks like that's what they did.
Yeah. They had less than 300 yards. Kansas City's not known for having an unbelievable defense.
19 attempts for 69 yards.
3 in the second half, though.
1,500 yards on the season, 16 touchdowns. The last time they played, Todd, he had 23 carries for 188. The longest run in this game was for only 13 yards. He averaged 3.6 yards a carry. He averaged 8 yards a carry the last game. So definitely some difference there was made.
3 carries in the second half, 7 yards.
Yeah, that's.
And he didn't look happy after the game either. And
No.
we don't know, we don't know all the dynamics that went into that. But
he's a worker, and he's going to get after it. And he knows it's a job now. It's not like college, so you prepare for the long haul. You're going to lose some tough games like that. I assume they'll probably be right back running around in this thing next year. I think, because I don't see the Patriots being any better.
No, and Henry's just going to get stronger. Barring injury, he's just going to get better.
The Ravens, there'll be something to run into again
Right.
next year.
Right.
Tannehill was 3 for 10 on third downs. That's not good.
No.
Kansas,
And he didn't beat them deep.
No, Kansas City kept them in long yard situations. Now, Todd, you know this. You followed football and coached and played it. When you can get a guy in a long yardage situation right off the bat, if it's 1st and 10, right, start the series, they'd run the ball and get 6 yards. Well, then it's 2nd and 4.
Mm-hmm.
You can run the ball. But it's like they just decided to really play out hard. A lot of teams will play hard on a 3rd down and try to get after them. Seemed like their plan was to put them in a 2nd and long situations.
Right, and it worked.
And it did.
Now, let's just be honest, though. This would be a tough team to beat had Henry got loose with the offensive firepower that the Chiefs had. Even with Henry having a big game, they could have still outscored their opponent.
Well, they outplanned them, and they outrushed them, Todd. I think they got outcoached a little bit. I think the Titans coach, I don't think he...
Well, it is his first year,
He seemed a little overwhelmed.
Yeah.
I mean, Mahomes had 53 yards rushing.
He led them in rushing. Had 294 passing, 347 yards.
So what's next for the Titans? Looks like an off season. They got 19 contracts coming open. Henry's going to have 3,800 yards, 38 touchdowns his career. Player rating's an 82. The next back close to that is Zeke with a 71.
Mm-hmm.
Henry average salary is $13 million. Zeke is $15, and Gurley is $14.3. So, is Henry going to get bumped for his contract again? I would assume so.
I would think so. Yeah, leading the league in rushing. You
Yeah.
know. And plus, it's playoffs. I mean, I know he didn't have a big championship game, conference championship, but he had 377 yards in the other 2 games.
Yeah.
Combined, 377. So, I mean, he's had a career in the playoffs.
And it looks like the final, like we talked about, was 35-24. All right, Todd had 35-24.
He's called me Todd Stradamus.
Todd Stradamus has picked another one, guys. He's holding the letter against his head. He's waiting for the pick. I had 36-30 Kansas City, so we're both pretty close on that.
Within 10, yes.
Yeah, good pick. Good job there, Dean. Moving on to 49ers, Packers. What do you think about the Niners and this offense? Okay, but their defense, man, they're playing.
Their defense is awesome. I mean, I've watched this team play more than once this year. I'm telling you, I think this is the best team in pro football.
I couldn't disagree, really. This is their 7th Super Bowl they're going to.
I mean, look what they did to, and you know how good Aaron Rodgers is. They did this to him twice. And, the only game they lost all year was to Seattle. And I don't know, they just look. So the only game, let me rephrase that. They lost 4 games. But the only team that played with both times was Seattle. They beat them one time, and then that went down to the wire the next time. I said that wrong. But that's who they seem to struggle with the most. But, man, this team's just put some whippings on some people.
37-20. 37-20 is the final score. They beat the Packers there, so 49ers are NFC champs.
It's worse than that, too. Would you agree?
Yeah, because those last touchdowns, they kind of just let them score there. Look, man, what was the driving key to success? Again, this is very easy for me. It's number 31. Strike up the symphony, because Mozart had put on a big show for the ages.
Mozart, yeah.
He
Where did this
played
guy come
out.
from?
Todd, this guy played at Purdue. It's like he had a school record, 33-yard return. He had 2,200 yards in kickoff returns and 750 rushes. 2015 NFL draft.
After 750 yards?
Yes.
But he had 2,200 kickoff returns.
He was a kickoff specialist. He was drafted in 15. Like he went to the Eagles. Hold on now. I'm not done. Dolphins, Ravens, the Broncos. I'm not done. The Jets and the Bears. I'm still not done. 2016, I don't know, in that 1 year, he got traded around a lot. 16, looks like the 49ers has taken him in. He does have a contract to 2022 with 1,000 career rushing as of right now. He had 29 carries, 220 yards, 4 touchdowns. That's a NFL postseason record.
Did you watch the game?
Yes. He completely...
he was just
they could do nothing. They could do nothing with him.
Nothing. A lot of those carries was there towards the end.
Yeah.
I mean, at one point, he had 200 yards on 19 carries.
What did Jimmy G really have? What did you think about him for the night?
He didn't have to do a lot.
I think he was like 6 for 8.
What, he throw for 94 yards? Or was it even that much?
Let's see. Yeah.
He didn't have to.
He watched the maestro, is what he did, perform by just handing the ball off to the man that, again, struck up the band, Mozart, the symphony leader. He had 6 for 8 for 77 yards.
77, and they won, and they're going to the Super Bowl. But that shows you, if you got a good running game, you can win in any level of football. Any level.
Looks like this was the least amount of yards thrown, Todd, by a quarterback in a postseason type conference game since '73 Miami, where they beat the Raiders 26-10. And just for trivia, just for you listeners. Todd, you know who the quarterback was in '73 in Miami? Todd probably knows.
I almost think it was Bob Greasy.
Yes, it was.
Was it really?
That's why I got him on the show, people. Now you're listening. Diamond Dean has struck diamonds again. So it's 6 for 8, and I think Greasy was I think it was the same. I think it was he had 6 completions.
I saw something on some of them Miami teams back then, and they ran the ball. They had a guy named Mercury Morris. They had Larry Zonka. And Greasy didn't throw a lot. He didn't throw a lot. I mean, 1 year their leading receiver had 30 catches. So,
well, it looks like to paint the day, looked like the scene of the stadium was all red and gold. The parking lot was buzzing. All players walking around. I mean, it just felt like a big win early in the day. The Packers stuffed Coleman on the run early, and the 49ers went 3 and out. Mm-hmm. So it's like, well, here we go. So Richard Sherman, he's had his eyes on this for a while, and he definitely knew he's going to make his coverage out there. They had an early hit on the pass for 20 yards to Devontae Adams. Just kind of seemed that he was up for the challenge. The Shermanator he's a 5-time Pro Bowler and voted All-Pro 4 times, but the Packers they had to punt. Mm-hmm. 49ers had 90 yards to go, and a pass on a second and 10 look like to Debo Samuel.
Debo Samuel, man, what about this guy?
I know.
South Carolina, played
okay.
at South Carolina. I guess he was up pretty good there. But man, he's really showing out for the 49ers.
He makes a big catch, and here we go. Big eye opener for me, as I called him Mustache last time, just being funny. Mozart takes the ball, boom, 7-0. Nick Bosa just puts on a clinic there against Rodgers, and it just drives him in the ground. They get a sack on him. 49ers looks like they hit a 54-yard field goal and make it 10-0 at the end of the second quarter. So it's 10-0. Here we're going to start after halftime. A fumble strip by the Niners corner, Williams, and the Packers had it. Then they shanked a punt, which set up Jimmy G, and they're going to start up the Maestro again. They're going to pass down here to QB sneak, then Maestro for a 9-yard touchdown. Thanks to Debo for the block, because this guy blocked, Todd.
Have you seen him?
I watched this game, and
he's a stud.
Mozart had plenty of success in running the ball, but you could see why, because this big Debo, man, he's putting the blocks on.
Debo is a monster.
Well, the Pack comes out to score, and Aaron ain't said he ain't going to go out like this. They have a bad snap. Terrible position in the game. They give the Niners the ball at their 25. Well, the symphony still ain't over. Diamond Dean, because Mozart again, 34-yard run, gives him 100 yards on the day. Packers stand back up, but the 49ers get 3. So it made it 20-0 now. It's 20-0.
Yeah,
Rodgers gets picked. They take it about 30 yards. Strike up the music again, Dean. Mozart
again,
for 6. 27-0. 14 carries for 160 yards.
At half.
Yes, sir. Just right after that. Third quarter still. Rodgers is ready. He has experience. He's got the eye of the tiger, man. 11 plays, 75-yard drive. Aaron Jones hits it over there in the corner over there. 27-7. The Packers are hanging tough. Well, then again, we can't forget about our guy. The violins are not done playing because they're fired up and the sticks are smoking. Because Mozart, 22-yard touchdown run. Todd, it's 34-7. Jimmy G, he goes down. It's a bad spot for them, but they had to give it back to Jones for 6. Again, so from the 1, because he had scored, and remember they took it back?
Right.
It fell close to the goal line.
Yeah. I do remember that play. You're talking about Aaron Jones. Yeah.
I thought he got in. Then, come on.
I mean, at that point.
They set the ball back up. It goes in. But, so the score winds up being about what we thought it was going to be. Looks like for the 49ers, Todd had 27-20. I had 31-24. The finals to 37-20.
But we also said that even though it was a touchdown game, that it wouldn't go down to the wire. That man got a cheap one late. Did we not say that?
Well, Sherman got caught up. He got caught just taking a nap over there. He's over at the water cooler, and Adams hit a big play on him, and that set up Rodgers to Steinberg and made it 34-20, but the fat lady already sang, you can close down the band because the cellos and the violins are done playing for the night because Mozart.
220 yards.
Todd, this guy had a great night. The Niners go down. They had a kick for 3. So they're going to Miami. Super Bowl 53 Sunday, the 2nd, about 5:30. It's going to be on Fox. And again, guys, we're going to have a Super Bowl special. We're going to do a 4 o'clock show. So don't forget, tune in WDKR for our Super Bowl special show. We're just going to do a quick review of the Super Bowl and take our picks and put it out there right before the game so everybody can listen in before the game. So, looks like we're going to have a good Super Bowl. What do you? What kind of
I think it will be a great Super Bowl, and I don't mean no disrespect to the kids at school, but you talk to every kid at the school I work at, and they all say Kansas City. And I tell you what, you can pretty much go by that and pick San Francisco because kids go for the flashy.
Yeah.
And Kansas City's flashy. San Francisco's not. Flashy's not what always wins. I think the San Francisco 49ers will win this. We'll get into more of that next week, but I think that's going to be your Super Bowl champs.
Yeah, they play defense, when the times are right, is the Chiefs going to be a redo of LSU, and offense wins ball games now because of the way the plays are called and these targeting calls and how it slowed down defenders.
I don't think San Francisco cares. I think they'll whatever. I think the Chiefs will have some yards, but I don't know. I just cannot pick against this 49er team at the moment.
Right now, the Chiefs are picked by 2. So Super Bowl 54, guys, don't forget 4 o'clock.
And we'll get more into our picks and why we think this and why we think that.
4 o'clock, we're going to tune into a Super Bowl special. It's kind of it for this part here. We're going to come back and do what everybody may want to listen to. This is some good stuff we got coming. Bama, LSU, players coming back, coaches moving around. Todd's got Auburn and Georgia. We're going to kick that around. Thank you guys again for tuning in to WDKR, the Matt and Todd Show. We'll be right back. Y'all come back with us, and we'll give some college right here. Y'all hang on, come back. Thank you.
You're listening to WDKR, internet-based community radio, serving Cherokee County, Alabama. WDKR.org. Join Big Matt and Diamond Dean for sports talk and more on the Matt and Todd Show, right here on WDKR at WDKR.org. Every Sunday night at 7 o'clock Central Standard Time.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to the Matt and Todd Show. It's Big Matt. We've got Diamond Dean across the table here. We are going to look at college football recruiting, the classes coming in this year. We're going to have some declares. Looks like February 5th is going to be a date people need to pay attention to. Todd's what's going on at down on the plains at the Big War Eagle Tiger?
Down on the plains. Well, I want to talk about some recruits first. And the first one I want to talk about for Auburn is a quarterback they've gotten. And they're thinking he could push for some playing time.
Is this the kid from West Virginia?
This is a dual threat. I'm having a little trouble pronouncing this. Shale Garnett is his name. He's a dual threat quarterback, and it is believed by some that he could definitely be Nix's backup. He's a dual threat quarterback. He's been hurt some, though. He's hurt his senior year. And but basically, there's a lot of elation down on the plains because this is a solid backup. Joey Gatewood went to Kentucky to be the quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you got to have a good backup. Alabama proved that this year.
Yes.
You got to have a good backup, and it looks like Auburn may have that. And some other positions Auburn really did well on was wide receiver. They loaded up at wide receiver. They got a guy named Kobe Hudson, Zevion Capers. Anybody named Zevion Capers has got to be pretty good. J.J. Evans, Elijah.
JJ, got to be good, JJ.
Canyon. They also loaded up on the O-line. Got some very good O-linemen. But we all know, and me and Matt's mentioned about it on this show before, Cornell Williams is the running backs coach there now, and he helped bring this guy in from Callaway, Hogansville, Georgia. Okay. And that would be Cartavius Tank Bigsby.
Tank Bigsby. Yeah,
Tank Bigsby.
I remember doing some digging up on him, man. This guy is a Tank very much suits his name because this guy is big. He's a big kid. He looks solid.
If you just go look at him online, tell me he looks 17.
Go to 24/7 Sports and look up Tank Bigsby and his picture, guys. Man, this guy's a stud.
He is. In 2,200 yards as a junior. He was hurt some this year, had 1,700. They lost in the semifinals 2 years in a row. But, he's just a stud. And, pretty much played in the passing offense. This guy can catch out of the backfield. He's got the size. I'm telling you, remember that name. Because he may be. They've got good running backs back. They got Booby Whitlow back. But this guy could really vie for some playing time. And like I said, he is one of their they're big on him coming in there, and they're big on their receivers. Defensively, Auburn didn't do unbelievable recruiting, not like they did offensively. They did get a bunch of defensive backs, some 4-stars. They got Eric Reed Jr., 4-star. I don't know if that's the same. I don't know if it's no connection. Probably not. Probably not old enough. But we hope he's not. And being an Alabama fan, you hope he's not as good as the Eric Reed that played at LSU. Ladarius Tennyson, 4-star. Chris Thompson Jr., 4-star. And they also got a guy named Marco DeMio.
Marco DeMio.
All right, so it
looks like Auburn's going to be kind of settled at defense. They got a good backup. Bo will have somebody come in and play for him if he goes down,
playing time.
Which is good. Competition's good. They're definitely going to be strong in the running back part, and their offensive line looks to be good. And also, they changed coaches, so they're going to be changing their play call a little bit. Todd, what's going on with that?
Okay, well, Kenny Dillingham decided who called the plays. Now, I found out a few things about this, and it's kind of interesting. And he did this with Rhett Lashley and Kenny Dillingham. They were brought in to be the offensive coordinators at Auburn. But they really weren't. Maybe they were, but Gus called the plays. So Dillingham goes on to Florida State after 1 year to call the plays.
Yep.
And Chad Morris, who was at Arkansas, comes to Auburn. And Malzahn says he's turning it over completely to it. Turning it over. And Auburn's O-line coach is also a new guy named Jack Bicknell that was Ole Miss. They got rid of J.B. Grimes. I don't know what happened there, but he's no longer the O-line coach. You know, Auburn had a lot of offensive problems this year, and their fans can attest to that. And they were frustrated with it. But we got a new line coach, Jack Bicknell. His daddy was Boston College's coach when Flutie played there.
All right, that's very interesting.
And they actually said that this guy was the center on the Hail Mary Flutie play.
Well, how about that?
Yeah. So
he got some nostalgia tied to his name.
He was a head coach before too at Louisiana Tech. Went 43-52. Almost 500. So he's got some head coaching.
The Tigers have a tough, probably the toughest schedule in the ACC. So coming back, we're not going to do, well, we could say a pick now, but we'll definitely be in the summer. We'll be kicking around more where we see them landing as far as the season goes.
I think they'll be good.
Be another 10-win season. But, they got to play Florida, Georgia, Alabama.
LSU.
Auburn's got a tough schedule. So we'll see how they kind of plan out. We're going to head on down to up the road just a couple of miles there to Tuscaloosa, Alabama. And college stuff for Bama recruiting. Looks like a McKinley Jackson, Todd. I've had my eye on this guy. He's from Lucedale, Mississippi. He's a senior. He had 76 tackles, 37 for loss, 10 sacks. He's 6'2", 327.
He's all in the backfield.
Todd, 327 he weighs.
And he can move, obviously, if he made 37 tackles behind the line.
He did spend the night last Saturday in Tuscaloosa. He was heavily recruited by LSU and A&M. He did play in the Alabama-Mississippi All-Star game. He was a standout. Not falling very far away, just across the state of Alabama over to Powder Springs, Georgia, Todd. Javon Baker. You heard of this guy? Wide receiver, Powder Springs. His Twitter said, if you wasn't with me in the start, don't jump on the train now. Nobody was kind of.
He's from Powder Springs.
Nobody was really looking for him then. Nobody was really looking at him. He's 6'1". He's 196. Some people had him listed at 186. Looks like he's the 17th to Bama. He run a 4.740. Some of the recruiting class guys seem to feel like he compares to Riley Ridley, Todd. That's a pretty good comparison.
Riley Ridley was very good.
He gets out of his breaks.
Talking about Calvin's brother, right?
Yes, he gets out of his breaks very well. He's a strong route runner. He did visit Arkansas January 27th. Also, that's going to be the class for Bama. They have 22 new members coming in early. Will Anderson, defensive end, 6'3", 233. Brian Branch from Georgia, 6 foot, 182. Chris Braswell, Todd. Put a star by that. Write that name down in your little book.
Chris Braswell.
Chris Braswell, defensive end from Baltimore, 6'3", 220, played at St. Francis Academy. Here's another guy. We'll have a little star by this guy. Javon Cohen, Central Phoenix City. We know where that's at.
And loaded. I mean, absolutely loaded.
So,
what, 2 state championships? No, they didn't actually win it this year.
Offensive tackle, 6'5", 295. 6'5", 295. Todd.
See a 5-star?
Yeah. This guy's going to be a big-time player. He was supposedly, this is what some of the news had talked about, him being committed pretty tight with Auburn, and then he flipped from Auburn. Some people had said that Auburn pulled his whatever commitment,
right.
and then he went to Bama, and then other people said, no, that's not true. There's a holding kid, a wide receiver. Here we go again. California, Todd. California. The kid's from California. Wide receiver, 6'3", 195. He's a big guy. He's got big hands like Kawhi Leonard, big hands.
We know they're not going to USC, obviously, from what we've learned. They
do need to refill that position, excuse me. Carroll City, where he played out there, Todd, California area, Carroll City's big-time football. So if you're a big-time player at a big-time school, you're probably, you could say you're a big-time player. Looks like a Kennan kid. He played at Theodore. We know where that's at. Right. Inside linebacker, 6'3", 215. He was the number 1 player in the state, Todd. He's going to have to follow the footsteps of 2014 Marlon Humphrey and Reuben Foster 2012. Can he do that? Some people will think that he can't.
And he's from Mobile.
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken, C.J. Mosley played at Theodore. I think C.J. Mosley played at Theodore.
That sounds right. Defensive tackle. Here we got another defensive player. Guys from Reform. Pickens County.
We've been there.
Yes, we have. Very, very great crowd down there. One of the good kids.
Yeah, good kid. That was an exciting football game.
Super polite kids. They'd come over there and showed you and Scott their rings because y'all had knew some of them.
Yeah.
Really nice. And the thing called The Place where they cook ribs right there back there.
Right. We won't go down there. We might go down there when we get done here.
Well, 24/7 says that he fits anywhere, Todd, on defense. 6'3", 280. Playing at that school. 6'3", 280. This Jace McClennan, running back from Texas. There's the Texas players. 5'11", 202. He was a flip from Oklahoma. He can go right along with Trey Sanders and play early. Malik Moore, safety from Trussville. We know where Trussville, Alabama is. Looks like Bama stayed in state a good bit.
Well, that's not been a theme here lately.
No, he's 6 foot. He's 180. They're comparing to Marlon Humphrey. Well,
starts for the Ravens.
Yeah, so this is pretty good. Another defensive player for Alabama, Quinn Robinson, outside linebacker, 6'5", 217, Birmingham. He says he's going to fill in for Jennings and Terrell Lewis, who's off to the NFL. Now, this is my pick. Y'all can, listeners. Drew Sanders, he's an athlete from Texas. He's 6'5", 232. This guy's a pass rusher extraordinaire. I really like this kid. He's an athlete. He's played quarterback.
Like Derek Thomas.
Oh, man, this guy, no, he played quarterback. He played receiver. He returns punts. I think he even made some punts, and he probably even kicked a field goal. So this is going to be good.
That's pretty awesome.
Rodell Williams, another running back from Hueytown. We know where that's at. 5'10", 202 pounds tight. This guy had 6,000 rushing yards in high school. Rodell Williams.
How many?
6,000.
6,000. Okay, that's averaging 1,500 a year, so that's pretty decent.
Hueytown. They play some pretty good football around that area.
Well, yeah, Cedar Bluffs had one 6,000-yard rusher in the history of the school, playing 1A.
Yeah.
And this guy did it at Hueytown.
Yeah. That's kind of the take on some of the players that's coming in. I can tell you, if you're going to kick around some guys that we talk about, and we're just, like I said, this show is just us just kicking around some stuff. Let's see, the kid, who was that? The Wiggins kid, running back from Jacksonville. Looks like he's going to Jacksonville, Todd.
Going Jack State. Yeah, I think he'll have a good chance to play there.
5'10", 174. Looks like they had him at a 4.6 40, 5,500 yards in 2 years. Is that right? 2 years.
2 years. I thought he was fantastic. He ran hard. He just one of those backs. He's long. You know, he's not very easy to tackle, and I think he's a good ball player. I think he's a good commitment.
Alan Myrick, Gadsden City kid, inside linebacker, going to UAB. If anybody looking around that area there, Gadsden City. Another kid, DeRicky Wright. Todd, what do you know about DeRicky Wright?
I know DeRicky Wright played for Etowah and was their star.
Right.
And transferred to Gadsden City.
Right.
And they didn't have a very good year, and was committed to Alabama at one time. So I don't know what's happened.
Well,
as far as his stock's gone down, we can say that for a fact.
A&M is on him. It looks like I've read Vanderbilt, and for him to get in Vanderbilt, maybe he's thinking
very smart.
Yes,
he's just as good a player as he ever was at Etowah.
Maybe he's thinking.
But it just seems like his stock's rolled a little bit.
Maybe he's thinking, longevity of staying and getting his 4-year degree. Because if he can get into Vandy, he's thinking about other things than football, which is awesome for that young man.
Yes.
Good luck to DeRicky and Mr. Wiggins down there at Jacksonville going to JSU. We're looking forward to seeing him play. Todd, Saquon Barkley, we all know who he is, right?
Right.
Well, the running back coach for him, now it looks like it's going to be Burton Burns, which was the GM at Bama.
He was very good.
He did coach Derrick Henry and Mark Ingram.
He was
2 Heisman Trophy.
Coach.
Okay, so he's headed up there. Looks like Mr. Coach Burton there had double knee surgery, and he couldn't get out on the field, so that's why they had moved him to a GM spot. And they're going to bring in a new coach, which I think everybody's heard that Freddie Roach, I posted it on our page.
Freddie Roach.
So he's going to take D-line, and the D-line coach that they have now is going to move to the GM spot that Coach Burton left. So there's moving around there down in Tuscaloosa.
Okay.
Now, Bama players back on the field. All right, Todd, looks like we got Harris. Brian Robinson had 113 carries for 783 yards. What about Sanders?
That Sanders, they say he's better than any of them. That's hard to believe.
I've read that too.
But that's what the word is.
Freshman Keelan Robinson, 39 carries, 254 yards. This McMillan kid, star by him. This guy could come in and play early. And also the Williams kid. There's a lot of potential in the backfield. So let's see what happens this spring in Tuscaloosa. Wide receivers back, Devontae Smith. Team leader, 1,200 yards, 14 touchdowns. Wadley and the McShay kid. So we got a new big three maybe in Tuscaloosa.
Got some studs back. Now, we're talking about studs here. And I'll wrap this. I'll do this very quickly. But we were talking about Georgia a minute ago.
Mm-hmm.
And listen to some of the talent they've got coming in. Broderick Jones, 5-star offensive tackle, Lithonia, Georgia. Number 24 player in the country.
Yeah.
All right, we've got Eric Gilbert, 5-star tight end. Number 8 player in the country. Miles Murphy, 5-star defensive end. 13th overall player in the country.
Georgia's going to build some defense, which is compared to what Kirby does. He's a defensive guy.
All right, and Brian Brisset, 5-star defensive end, Damascus, Maryland. He is the number 1 player in the nation.
How about that?
And he is going to Georgia. And here's some more. Now listen, this stuff's scary especially if you're not a Georgia fan. Defensive tackle here that we were just talking about, 4.640.
Oh.
Has been clocked at a 4.640.
And he's probably young and don't even really know how to run exactly correct,
So you got a 1, a 18, 8, a 13, and a 24. They've got Zachary Evans, 5-star running back from Houston, Texas. Number 2 player in the country. Julian Fleming, 5-star wide receiver, Pennsylvania. Number 5 player in the country. So they got 1, 2, 5, 8, 13, 24. They've got number 7. I can't pronounce his name. 5-star quarterback, DJ Ugale.
Oh yeah, Ogale. He's going to Clemson.
He's going to Georgia.
Are you sure? Because I'm pretty sure he committed in the senior game. He's a Clemson guy. He may have been prospected by Georgia. I'm pretty sure
he's no, okay, my mistake. That is a prospect.
Yeah,
he's a prospect.
He's at Clemson.
But now the rest of these guys are going to Georgia. And, Georgia had some offensive woes this year, obviously.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on
with
there.
the offense, and they made some changes. James Coley went to Texas A&M. He was he was the offensive coordinator. He's going to Texas A&M to coach a position. That Todd Monken has come in.
Now, what about I've seen some film breakdown of one. It's called he's UGA dog fan. He's a big fan. He breaks down film, and he was breaking down some film and talking about Monken and some of the running backs back at Georgia. McCutcheon seemed like was one of the guys, and last name, other one was White, and they look really good. So Georgia's going to be loaded up in the backfield, and offensively, Alabama. What about Mac Jones?
Well, now I like Mac. I mean, I think Mac is great.
He's going to have to.
I think he come in, Matt, and he threw for 600 yards or 9. He ended up throwing for 1,500 yards this year, and I just think he has. I think he's got all the tools.
Well, the little guy from Maitre.
Except that he can't run.
Well, the little guy from Maitre D, California, known as Bryce Young, 4,500 passing yards, 10 rushing touchdowns. Could fill in well for Tua Tagovailoa. And here's a name that I think some people's forgotten at Alabama, Paul Tyson. I picked up on him.
Which is Bear Bryant's grandson.
Some recruiting reading, like, well, where's this guy going to fall at? How's he going to feel? And we all know that Talia Tagovailoa is still on campus.
Right.
So we're going to have maybe a 4-way shootout, Todd, in the spring.
For quarterback.
We're going to keep a close eye on that.
We're going to have a good quarterback anyway.
We're going to keep a close eye on that and see what shakes out down there. Defensively, talk about Bama. We talked about Dylan Moses. You've talked a lot about him. He's coming back from the injury.
And I think he's going to be a force.
There's a middle linebacker freshman. Looks like the Mike linebacker, Shane Lee. Another freshman's Christian Harris. Added to start that 4 defensive lineman freshmen this year. At times in the game, they had many freshmen running around down there on the field. A defensive end, Justin Egsby, Bryant Young, and DJ Dale and Christian Baymore. Plus, they had a very young front 7.
The secondary, of course, they got Shane Lee and Christian Harris back, which you said that. I mean, those are good linebackers. They had to fill in this year.
Josh McMillan also had ACL injury last year. Sophomore Harris and Lee are good verbal commits at the linebacker spot that may come in and get some early playing time. But the biggest problems it looks like we're going to have, we had for 2020, it looks like Harris to replace the outside linebacker Jennings and Lewis.
They're both very good outside linebackers.
Big questions in the D backfield. I think that's what I'm kind of concerned about the D backfield.
I am too. I mean, you can't lose 3 out of your 4 starters
Maiden
and not have concern.
And McKinney, Carter, Diggs, junior corner Patrick Surtain. He's going to be a veteran out there this year. They may move him to nickel.
Could.
Because of where he could play. You got a new junior, Josh Job, selected.
He played pretty good.
Started 2 games.
Yeah. In the Michigan game. I thought he played well.
The sophomore safety, Jordan Battle, may have to move, play a free safety spot where McKinney has had to leave. So it looks like they're moving some people around. Daniel Wright, DeMarco Hamsley. Could see some playing time, Todd. Looks like we got a big spring coming for Alabama, and we'll definitely be keeping everybody up to date on who's coming and going. The cornerbacks at Bama, they were bad on quick throws against offenses that throw the ball very quick. I would like to see these defenders adjust well. On their offensive line, Landon Dickerson, center, 13 games, 720 snaps. He may stay at center. They may move him to guard. The Brown kid, the guard, he started 9 games. Very good run blocker. We all know Leatherwood, 748 snaps he had this year. Tommy Brown. Now, Evan Neal, a sophomore, will be next year. And you have a freshman All-American right tackle, probably, I guess, Evan Neal. So, Chris Owen, 10 games. He was a backup at center. He may be your new center. And a junior we have coming in back to play up on the line. So, they're bringing some guys back on offense. Like there's going to be some new faces on defense. They're going to move some people around the deep backfield. You got a 4-way shootout with the quarterbacks, and there's going to be plenty of running backs, Todd, looks like to go through.
I think Sanders, Harris, and Robinson. I mean, that's going to make out the backfield. Matt, let me correct something here and make something clear to the viewers that I did not make clear. I mentioned 6 players from Georgia. 3 of those had signed, and 3 of those, they're very hopeful. The 1 and the 2 have not signed yet, but it's looking like they may go to Georgia. But when is the official?
Well, February.
Signing,
I think
right.
February 5th is the
They're
day.
leaning toward Georgia.
Well, I think with the coaching changes, I think we try to keep a lot of that quiet. Nick does. until February because of signing day. But what Nick has built with this program, other people definitely do want. So some of the coaching changes, Sark did not take the Mississippi State job like we had thought. Some people thought because they brought in old
Leach,
crazy guy from.
Oh, and Ole Miss's coach is now the O-line coach at Georgia, Matt Luke. Ole Miss's old coach.
And Ole Miss's other line coach was Roach. He's now at Bama. So it's like Kiffin come in and said, "I'm gonna bring some of my people," which is fine. He wants to bring his group. Burton, like I said earlier, he's going running backs coach at the Giants. Freddie Roach, a D-line coach from Ole Miss. He brought this McKinley Jackson kid probably with him because he was a big commit to Ole Miss. Mm-hmm. When Freddie moved, he's moved too. Brian Parker's going to be your new GM. He's going to fill Burton's job, 2016 defensive line coach. He was at Mississippi State. 2019, he was a Bama assistant in D-line. He was the first D-line job he had was at the 96. He was at the Chargers. Mm-hmm. So there's some background there. Former linebacker, 02 to 05. I'm talking about Freddie Roach there.
Right, he's very good.
Strength coach, 08 to 10. Went to Scuba, which everybody that watches football, he was there, part of that.
That's East Mississippi.
Right, yeah. 2015 to Bama player development. That's what he was then. Mm-hmm. And Ole Miss at 17. Now, Golden looks like he's going to stay at the defense for his second year. He's from Texas, San Antonio, 16, 17 year. And then McMillan and Moses is going definitely, Todd, I think, are going to set the tempo for this
I
Bama
think they'll be very good.
Defense.
The linebackers are going to be strong.
Yeah.
Linebackers, probably the D-line, and that could help the secondary that's inexperienced.
Well, we got a lot of stuff here, guys, and I hope everybody's having a good time with this. We got a lot of info here for Bama and Auburn, Georgia fans. Maybe not a lot of LSU fans, but you may be interested, Bama, Auburn fans, because you're going to have to play LSU. Well, let me give you something here. They're leaving, looks like a left tackle, 2 linebackers, receivers, running back, quarterback, center, safety, and a defensive end. LSU does have 22 commitments. 9 underclassmen drafted, Dean.
9.
Now, they got a tight end, a Carrot Gilbert from Marietta, Georgia, 6'5", 253.
Did he definitely sign there?
That's the way I understood
it. He was in between Georgia and LSU.
He was supposed to be check mark for LSU.
Okay, well, then he's not.
Another tight end, Cole Taylor from Grand Junction, Colorado. Tight end, 6'7", 228.
So they're going with the big tight ends.
Cornerback, Ellis Ricks from Florida. There's another Florida guy, 192. Lorando Johnson from Texas. Lorando run a 4.5 40. Big shoulder guy, built for the safety spot. He's definitely going to be playing down the line some, make some big plays. Dwight McLaughlin from Texas. LSU's loading up. These are corners now. Mm-hmm. Their safety spot looks like Jordan Tolles from Baltimore. Projected second-round pick for NFL already. Had 190 career tackles, 175 pound. Is a good pass guy.
Already projected second-round pick?
Yeah, right now.
He's 18.
They say he's really smart. High ACT score. Defensive end, B.J. Ojolera from Marietta, Georgia. Run a 4.7 40. Defensive end, Todd. He run a 4.7. Okay, his brother, his linebacker, which is Isaiah Lugarera, he plays at Georgia. And there's Jaquelin Roy, 6'3", 289. He's from Baton Rouge. So they kept a guy at home. Eric Taylor from Trussville, Alabama, 6'4", 280. These are defensive ends. 16 tackles, 3 sacks, 1 for a pick. Wide receivers, Coy Moore was a guy from Louisiana that I had kept my eye on. He's 6'1", 172, running 4.6 40. He's going to play outside in the slot. He could play early. Coach O is looking for him to play early.
I mean, they got a couple of places to fill.
He's going to be battling sophomore Trey Palmer for that position at wide receiver. So one of these freshmen may surprise us, Todd.
Well, I mean, they got Chase back, but they lost Jefferson. I know they lost Jefferson. But they got Chase back, Jamar Chase, All-American, and Marshall. I think he's back, but you still got a couple people to replace.
Looks like they're going to have an awesome deal at defense. 20 tackles for Logan, and Farrell started 3 games. He had 46 tackles, 7 for loss, 3 for sacks. Linebacker Moore and Chevy are going to move to ends, maybe be pass rushers. This Jenkins kid, he's going to be battle ready coming out. LSU offensive starters, this position is all that has run through. I mean, it's what everybody's thinking about. So you got to fill the shoes of a record-setting Heisman winner, 24-year-old man.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this guy named Miles Brannon,
he's
supposed to be the guy. Peter Parrish is a guy on campus. Max Jones from Watkins, Georgia. Now the Parrish kid's from Phoenix City. He's a dual threat guy.
Oh, he's Phoenix City's QB.
Yes, and the Max Johnson kid, Todd, his dad was a quarterback at Florida State, Brad Johnson, which is the nephew of Mark Richt.
Right.
Throw for 3,000 yards.
Very good.
Throw for 3,000
He played pro ball.
Yeah, throw for 3,000 yards. Brandon appeared in 10 games, 353 yards, 1 touchdown, 60% passing. He's waited 2 years behind Joe. Now that's the Brandon kid. Put a star by him. He looks like he may be the guy. Chris Curry, a running back, 5'11", 200 pounds from Florida. Tyron Davis Price had 64 carries this year. John Emery. Could be any of these three, Todd. LSU's going to have a toss-up in running backs between Curry, Price, and Emery.
Well, I have no doubt that they'll be good either way. I mean, I'm not saying they're going to be as good as they are this year, but they're not going to be bad.
Well, who's going to place this all-star crew, Dean? Because Jamar Chase is back.
He is.
He did win the Blitnikoff. Terrence Marshall's back. This Trey Palmer, supposed to be good.
You got Thaddeus Moss and Justin Jefferson. They're going on.
Yeah.
Great. Either Randy Moss's son and Jefferson are done, but you got Marshall and Moss back, Marshall and Chase, who had 130 catches.
Well, these corners here, this Trey Palmer is a natural to replace Jefferson in that slot. He was a state champion at Kentwood High School. There's a lot of people moving around there. It looks like LSU's going to reload and play very well. They got some veterans back, both sides of the ball. So we know about Coach Aranda's going to Baylor, $2.5 million. He made it LSU, so I guess he's going to make more there. And Brady's going to help
with the Panthers, right?
He's going to help Coach Matt Rule, the old coach from Baylor.
Right. So that's been two big losses, Aranda, and of course, we've gone into depth about what Brady did.
And we talked about, you brought up some good points about how the coaches have changed there and who was actually calling the plays. It looks like this Jorg Monzo to replace Brady as the offensive assistant. He's already there. The Coach O thinks it'll be a smooth transition, and he likes him already. But good luck with any of that stuff.
I mean, I know he's got to say that, and the guy may be great, but how can you replace a Joe Brady?
Todd, we went over a lot of stuff today, and the recruiting stuff, and we went back through the NFL stuff, talked a little NBA. We did some college basketball. And
it's been one of our longer days. That's fine, though. There ain't nothing wrong with that.
Got a lot of recruiting in, and we're just trying to keep everybody informed. Again, we appreciate everybody listening in. WDKR, the Matt and Todd Show. Now, next Sunday, like we've already mentioned, at 4 o'clock, tune in here and listen to us at 4. We're going to do a Super Bowl special, be a quick little show, talk about Kansas City and the 49ers playing, how they match up, defense versus offense. Big hit of the game, Dean. Who's going to win this, O or D? You always think that defense wins championship. So we're going to wrap it up, I guess, right there. Matt and Todd Show. We're going to come back with a few little side notes here to kick some things around, maybe a little baseball and maybe a little NFL, who's retiring and what we got. What about old Tom Brady? We always want to mention him, get some comments going on the show. So we appreciate you guys for listening in tonight. And hang around. We'll be right back in just a minute for side notes. Thank you, guys.
You're listening to WDKR, internet-based community radio, serving Cherokee County, Alabama. WDKR.org. Join Big Matt and Diamond Dean for sports talk and more on the Matt and Todd Show, right here on WDKR at WDKR.org. Every Sunday night at 7 o'clock Central Standard Time.
All right, welcome back, everybody. This is Big Matt and Diamond Dean Side Note Show. Just as usual, we got our shoes kicked off, and we're gonna talk about let's say what do you think about Derek Jeter, Todd, going to the Hall of Fame? He's looks like he won 4 World Series or so. He's 5-time Golden Glove. He's won Silver Slugger awards, 3,000 hits. He leads the Yankees in hits. Now the Yankees have known their nostalgia. This man leads the Yankees in hits. We're talking about Roger Maris. We're talking about Mickey Mantle. We're talking about all the greats from Babe Ruth and all
Lou
of them.
Gehrig, yeah.
What he brought to the game was very good. He off the
Good
field,
guy, too.
Off the field, he had some women stuff, but I mean, you know, he's a superstar. It's Derek Jeter. He had girlfriends, and the media is a little nosy, maybe.
Right.
How did you guys feel about Derek Jeter? What kind of performance did he make, towards you? What kind of player do you think he was,
What kind of impact? Yeah, I'm sure he was a lot of people that are in their 20s now. He might have been their hero.
Some type of role model. I'm sure that age group had the posters in their room and all that.
Of course, he wasn't a home run hitter. Most kids
really,
like whatever's. And I said this earlier, who's ever blasting them home runs? Whoever's hitting them 3-pointers. And he wasn't real, I wouldn't call him a real flashy player.
No. He played great in his position, and I remember years ago when the boys were young, and about that time Jeter had made this play, deep ball over there in the third base hole. He backhands it, jumps, and throws the guy out at first, and then all the kids do that, and they holler Jeter every time they do something.
Right,
it was fun, and I had to get the kids to stop trying to do that. Like you're 10 years
you can't
old.
do it.
Yeah.
Just routine grounder, and they're flicking it up.
Yeah, they want to jump and throw the ball across the first.
That's because of Jeter. Yeah.
Right. What about Eli Manning? He retired out, 39 years old, 2 Super Bowls, 57,000 passing yards, 84 quarterback rating. Todd, here's the question, guys. Go on the Matt and Todd Show on Facebook. Here's where your comments. What's your thoughts? Is Eli Manning Hall of Fame? Is he going to be a first ballot guy?
He may not be a first ballot, but I think eventually he'll go in.
I think so.
They act like, and they're bad about this. They act like he's towards the end of the career, he was just garbage. And he was getting a little older, but this guy had a great career.
Well, no Super Bowl appearance since 2012.
Great career.
And he did beat Rodgers, and he did beat Tom Brady in the Super Bowls. So that's going to be worth something. So what do you guys think?
Yeah, he beat Tom Brady. Yeah.
So what do you listeners think about? Speaking of Tom Brady, we've seen the McGregor Cowboy fight. If anybody tuned into that for 40 seconds worth, hope you didn't pay for that. McGregor rocked him with a shoulder to the nose, stunned him, and shin kicked him to the head, and rode him in the fence and just kind of beat him down. Speaking on that, Brady was there to fight. He's talking to the owners of the Chargers, I think, there. He'll have some weapons there. And, with the Raiders moving to Las Vegas, which was announced the other day, is it something that the Chargers may want to bring in some new
blood
to the Chargers to kind of pump their team, Todd? What do you
I
think?
just don't see him leaving.
Ticket sales up for a new stadium. That would help that. And we got to mention that the Patriots have not had a first-round wide receiver pick, Todd, in 20 years.
Just done it with him.
Nor a running back in 10 first-round pick.
I think some of us guys from town started on one of them teams that he had the receivers, didn't he?
Man, this guy's been there forever. And Philip
I'm
Rivers,
talking about, and he does it with so-called average guys. We're talking about Brady. I'm talking about Brady.
And to add to that, Philip Rivers has been known to say his permanent residence is in Florida now.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't see that he's coming back. Is Tom Brady going to be the guy out there? Staying on football, I know everybody tunes in to ESPN throughout the weekend. Antonio Brown, everything that he's going through, looks like he's having a real time mentally, struggling with a lot of things. This last thing he got into, most of you know the backstory of what had happened most of lately. Mm-hmm. Moving company comes, Todd. They pull up in the moving van. Mm-hmm. AB goes out to the moving van, jerks the door open, and punches the driver up pretty good. They got him on felony assault charges. I don't want for this to end bad because there is police notes of him being a concealed carried person. Mm-hmm. And he's been acting very erratic as of late. And if they bang on the door and go in and go for an arrest warrant, which they have, if he just has a cell phone in his hand and they feel threatened, Todd, we've seen a lot of things happen, and I don't want to see this guy lose his life over some stuff like this. He's a fantastic football player, and I hate to see that he's going through. He's throwing furniture off balconies. His guy has left him. That carries all his stuff for him. His lawyer left him.
I'm going to say
his wife and his kids have left.
He's either on drugs, or this game is taking a toll on him.
Just hits to the head.
Hits to the head, which. We are not really a big fan of, me or you aren't a big fan of the targeting calls. But let's face it, they happen, and I'm serious. No, I don't think he's on drugs. I'm making a point. He's either on drugs or something's happened. This guy has had some type of episode in his brain.
Well, he left Pittsburgh, tip off to Big Ben for wrangling this guy for all these years. Coach Tomlin for dealing. What was going on over there?
Well, I heard he was bad the whole time, but it's just now coming out.
But we never heard nothing.
Never heard anything about it.
Coach Tomlin never had much say. Went to the Raiders. He taped the conversation. Got us some trouble there. Griped about his helmet not being grandfathered. Stuff went on there. He goes to the Patriots, man. Belichick gives the guy a shot. Tom Brady invites him to his home to spend the night there while he's getting settled.
He played in the game.
And all he had to do was say nothing until Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Next day, he goes on Twitter. He's got something crazy to say. Calls Robert Kraft a cracker. Some type of things with negotiations.
And the guy has no reason to be mad. Leading receiver, and there's no telling how many catches the guy has in his career. What's he angry about?
Great player.
I'm telling you, I think there's a mental episode going on there.
So the tip is, guys, go on the Matt and Todd Show page. What do y'all think? What's going on with AB? I hate to see anything bad happen to this young man. We'll be praying for him and hope that he can get his mind together. I wish he could get back and play, but man,
it ain't looking good.
This is not going to go down with.
I mean, I hate it too. I'm a fan.
Goodell, is he going to let him come back? They're not going to let him come back, man. I don't know. I feel for the guy. And
I'll say this, and I don't want to get off on this, and this may get some comments, but we probably won't see AB no more. And some of our listeners, you're not going to see Colin Kaepernick anymore.
Yeah.
These guys are probably never going to play. AB may.
Oh, man.
But
he's in a lot of trouble. I hope he gets this all settled.
But, Plaxico Burress got in trouble a few years ago. We never did see much more of him. I think it's the end for these guys, unfortunately.
Very unfortunate.
And or for this guy. Kaepernick's been gone. But I don't think we'll see him back. And I unfortunately, I'm not 100% sure we'll see Antonio Brown. I don't want to see Anthony Brown again either. He was a running back at Valley Head when I played for Cedar Bluff. The fastest kid I've ever seen in my life. I don't want to see him around either. But I don't think we'll see Antonio Brown around.
The guy that we are going to see back and has made his debut the other night, Zion Williams. Guys, go on our Facebook page, The Matt and Todd Show. What do y'all think about Zion, his debut back? Does it look like he's 100%? Does it look like he's game ready? He had 22 points, 7 rebounds. He hit 4 3-pointers, Todd. And I know it's not.
He could shoot 3-pointers.
I know. I think he just kind of got the touch for it through the game there, and he just kept shooting them. So he played 18 minutes altogether in that game. What do you feel about him? Does he look like he's ready to come back? He does to me. He looks fine and healthy. Exciting career. Can't wait to see him play a little more. He's got many more years to play. So go on our page. Give us your thoughts about Zion. Does he look like he's 100%? Was Derek Jeter a part of your, young lives there and watching him play? Is Eli Manning a Hall of Famer?
That's a good question.
Is Tom Brady headed to the Chargers? And again, prayers and thoughts with AB. I hope everything works out well.
Yeah, we're not pulling against him at all.
Absolutely not.
I mean,
not for any human ever, man. I hate to see him go through that.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but something's not right.
Yeah. His
behavior's erratic, and it's just out of control.
And the Kansas, talking about out of control, the Kansas State fight.
Led right into that good, didn't it?
Number 22, Celeste, the player that kind of had started it, they were dribbling the ball down, and you've been a part of the basketball. I've been around it. And they're just going to dribble the clock out. Guy steals the ball, goes down trying to dunk it. And Celeste he blocks his shot, stands over him. Boom. Right then, if it's done, I don't have a problem with any of that. He's just making a point, hey, not tonight. Then
the game was over. Though,
and then
was
they
there
get
6
up.
seconds left.
Yeah, and they get up and they start pushing and shoving, fighting. Guys are off the bench. He picks up a cheer. That's where it gets bad.
Got 12-game suspension,
And that's gonna lead to a lot of trouble. And I hope everything works out for them. It's a great rival, and that's what we have to remember. It is a rival game. That's just some stuff that's went on.
What I hate about it is that it was over. The game was over. 81-59. They actually went away from it here on ESPN.
Why steal the ball and try to? Why?
Well, that was it. They were just kind of told, don't do nothing. Kansas was not going to do anything else.
No.
And, how kids are. I've seen clips of kids that were special needs being put into a ball game before, and somebody stole the ball from them.
Yeah. No, that's not good.
They didn't know, but these are men.
Yeah.
But, obviously everybody's seen the one where they put the little kid in the football game and let him run a touchdown, and the guy runs full speed down there and tackles him. It happens. It happens. It's hard to put people in a ball game and tell them not to do nothing.
Yeah. I don't know why he would want. Well, I know why he wants to steal the ball. I do. I'm lying. He wanted to try to get the ball. He knows he's not going to win the game. But he's trying to make a point that yes, we got blowed out tonight, but they're going to play again.
Right.
Pretty soon.
Yeah. Very soon.
So what's going to happen that next game? I'm sure everybody's going to be on high alert for that game. And
bad fight. Terrible.
Well,
fight.
It was on mainstream TV. It was televised everywhere. So that's something else we kicked around tonight on Side Notes, guys. We're glad y'all tuned in with us, and thank you for hanging around. Had a little longer show today with the recruiting and NFL stuff. We're having a great time, Diamond Dean.
Yes, we are. It's just a lot of fun. And don't forget now, 4 o'clock next Sunday. Well, the show probably be a little short. That's one of the reasons we went a little longer today.
Yeah.
Because it'll just be about the Super Bowl.
Yeah, we're going to do a Super Bowl special. Just kick off the KFC Kentucky Fried Chicken Chiefs against the Joe Montana 49ers.
Joe Montana, is he playing in this game?
Yeah, he's going to suit up. He don't have to do much. Looks
well,
like you could go 6 for 8 and win the game. Just hand
I'll
it off
go on and pick them. He never lost the Super Bowl.
Hand it off to Mozart. Let the band strike up and the symphony play, and we'll see what happens. Guys, don't forget next week, 4 o'clock, Super Bowl special show. Thank you for hanging in with us tonight. WDK, we love you. God bless you. Y'all have a great Sunday afternoon. Thank you.